Let our baristas always be non-binary, and let our bartenders be lesbians, and whoever is running the glitter table, may you always be a trans person and or a drag queen, because you can be all. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Hi, welcome to Blazed Book Reviews. I'm in my pajamas and I'm gonna put goop on my face, alright? This is a show where my girl eats mayonnaise from the jar while she's getting blazed, which I only like QP mayo, so that doesn't come in a jar, so that's such a niche reference. It is before my bedtime. Oh no, you can see me with no glasses. Oh no. It's before my bedtime and I'm gonna do my skincare and we're gonna talk this book. Not all of these will be talking, but like this book I feel like doesn't need a full rant review, but it could use a little rant. Like I think a lot of people would have just found it all nice and wonderful because, you know, Pride and Prejudice retelling. Hell yeah. And I love me a Pride and Prejudice retelling. Okay, this one just pissed me off. I just finished it. Wow. Do you guys like when I beauty guru for you? I don't know. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. I'll do it when I decide to. I'm doing my eyelid scrub. Is this ASMR? I'm just scared that I'm gonna be too loud. Oh my god. Why did I do this? I hate wet sensations, even when I'm planning to be wet, unless it's like swimming or my brain went inside swimming, but I meant having a bath. I'm having a really rough week. Aside from just being blazed. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Most Ardently by Susan Mesler-Evans, not to be confused with Most Ardently the Gay Man one, which I like their cover a lot better. Why are all the gay men getting everything? It's supposed to be Pride Month. Lesbians are first. It says it on the thing. I love the rest of y'all. Take nothing in this seriously, okay? But this was a... what do I even say? This is a modern day, like contemporary, there we go, retelling of Pride and Prejudice. And it's obviously Sapphic. Should have had all the things I love. I love me some Mr. Darcy and Lizzie, okay? Like 10 out of 10. This book, not that, homie. I'm gonna warn you now that I will not explain the entire plot of Pride and Prejudice to y'all. So if you don't know what it is, maybe could you just go to Wikipedia? That was my toner. You know what? I will describe it slightly because Hi Me is so funny. I keep a notes app of Hi Me's funniest insults. And there's still one that's number one, but I don't want to waste it on this book. Pride and Prejudice. I will tell you briefly. Fancy schmancy dress people. Old-timey. No toilets. King George, the one we don't like, but that was also in Bridgerton, so we do kind of like him. The one from Hamilton. You'll be back. Where was I going with the fancy people? Right, fancy people, Europe, white people. My ancestors. I'm related to Jane Austen, which is a flex. It's a brag. I am also, unfortunately, also related to the George Bushes. Cannot abide by that. I keep forgetting I'm gonna do my skincare. Anyway, this is my Essence crap, not the makeup company, the skincare step. I don't know. Don't ask me things right now. The OG enemies to lovers. Okay. Lizzie got that bad vibe about Mr. Darcy right away. She said, nah. And then she heard him talking smack. And she ran to tell her girl, Charlotte, because he was like, she's fairly handsome, but not enough to tempt me. Something along those lines, okay? Misunderstandings, family drama, trying to get all 5 of your daughters married off because you're stressed as hell. And Mr. Bennet is kind of a loser. Handsome Pirates of the Caribbean man? What? Wait, no. Oh my god, he's not in Pirates of the Caribbean. Scratch that. Reverse it. He's in the Young Victoria. Maybe. This Young Victoria ass boy in the picture. Whatever. Multiple proposals. Crazy things. Class disparity a little bit. And a love interest, Mr. Darcy, whose love language is acts of service. Okay, now on to this version. So I know a lot about Pride and Prejudice and just Jane Austen's work in general because I watched the 2005 movie. 2000s, I don't know what year, don't quote me. And then I went, you know what? I would love to read that. And then I read all of her works. Crazy. I love all of them. No notes. Well, I mean, some notes, Jane. Where are the lesbians? Well, wait, she wrote Mary. Okay, I forgive you. I forgive you, my queen. All right. This one, for some reason, aged down every sister of the Bennet family, except for Jane, the oldest. They aged Lizzie down to 18 when in the book she's 20, and by the end of the book she's 21. So that felt unnecessarily icky to me, but when we get to Lydia, I'll have to talk about all that. But yeah, also they decided to have the Bennet parents be divorced, and I was like, that kind of makes a lot of it make no sense, homie. Okay, Mrs. Bennet in the OG is so stressed about her daughter's marrying, and she's partially that stressed because of Mr. Bennet, Mr. Flippy Floppy over here, you know? Like, I do not like how this feels. I don't. Ew. Any hoozles. Aging them down, weird choice. The Bennets being divorced, weirder choice. We will get to what they did to my girl Lizzie though, because oh my god, but I think we should start somewhere else first, aside from the odd. Oh no, we have more odd changes we gotta talk about. So, okay, Mr. Darcy's family, right? Sister, Georgiana. Aunt, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. That bitch. I love the actress though, isn't that Dame Judi Dench? I think so. I love her. Anyway. And her daughter is Anne, allegedly, according to Lady Catherine, but again, Mr. Darcy's parents, dead as a doornail. Literally. But allegedly, according to her, the cousins were promised to each other in their infancy, and that is nasty. But thankfully, Mr. Darcy's not about that life, right? No thanks. The other character we need to talk about, Lizzie's family, right? 4 other sisters, Mr. and Mrs. Bennet as parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gardner on one side of the family. I'm pretty sure it's her mother's. But anyway, the distant cousin that's going to be inheriting Longbourn because Mr. Bennet didn't have a son is Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins is a religious twat. He just is. Okay. He, in the OG book, starts hitting on her and being like, we gotta be together. Cause whatever. But again, Lizzie and Mr. Darcy aren't about that life. They don't want the incest. They're not into it. Thank God. Anyway, Mr. Collins is also a messy bitch because he marries her best friend, Charlotte, who I use that audio all the time. Like, I'm 27 years old. I have no money and no prospects. I'm already a burden to my parents. And I'm frightened. But what a snake, though. Weirdo. Just so you can inherit my dad's stuff. I thought you were my bestie. It's fucked up of you. Anyway, but Mr. Collins isn't Lizzie and the girls' cousin in this retelling. They made him Lady Catherine de Bourgh's nephew, but also Darcy is her niece, but they never addressed each other as cousins, so I'm very confused. Anyway, they did that. Not that that was weird. I thought that was a weird change. Also, another change I fucking hated is that everyone knew that Darcy was into, in this version, it's Elisa Benitez, okay? They all just knew, but in the book, I felt very specifically, like the OG, I felt like everyone was shocked and was like, don't y'all hate each other? Why are you engaged? And they were like, we don't hate each other anymore. Why are you acting so surprised? Let me marry this man who makes 10,000 pounds a year, please. You know what? How can you argue with that? I feel like, honestly, the things I hated about this retelling specifically, and I'll talk about one thing I really liked, is that I don't feel like a lot of it was in the spirit of Pride and Prejudice, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like, yes, you're trying to refer to them, but like, they don't really feel like the characters, and it's not just because the use of like modern language, like what we talk about now, right? Like, I'm not saying that shit. What I am saying is that I don't feel like even like the intentions as the character is even close to the original. So like, the reason why I gave so much off of this book, other than the other wackadoodle shit, was because my brain is, they are clowning up my girl Lizzie. They're making her look not only stupid when she's not stupid. Okay, Lizzie Bennet is a maze boss, okay? I love that girl forever. I will defend her honor. Shut your mouth. Shut your pie holes. She is rich. She is that bitch. Well, I mean, she's rich because she got married, but it's neither here nor there. She was just waiting for the right man to make her rich, and then she's still that bitch, you know? Anywho, she is like so witty, and she is trying so hard to like say things kind of in a snide way, but in a way that won't get caught by society. Like, most people aren't thinking it's rude. Like, occasionally they were, like Lady Catherine de Bourgh, right, where she asked how old Lizzie is, right, after she says, yeah, all 5 of us are out at the same time and we didn't have a governess. And so now Lady Catherine de Bourgh is judging them and their family, right? So she asks how old she is, and she's like, with 4 younger sisters out already, you can't expect me to own up to it. Like, damn. It It was great. Like, it was amazeballs. But Lizzie is so witty and so, like, funny, you know? And she also knows, like, what society's expectations for them are, how this is gonna, like, go down. Blah, blah, blah. But she still wants love anyway, you know what I mean? Like, she wants the whole picture, which is obviously Mr. Darcy. I just felt like instead of making Lizzie any of the things that I just tried to say she was, you know, which is smart, funny, you know, smart, funny, I'm losing track again. Oh yeah, instead of making her those things, they just made her a bitch. Like, literally just a bitch. I was literally like, this isn't Lizzie Bennet. This is, like, offensive to me. How dare you say that this is Elizabeth Bennet? How dare you? Also, I feel like the Darcy in this one, which it just didn't do it for me either, you know? Like, I feel like Mr. Darcy is such a specific kind of person, and, like, when you're trying to modernize it, but you also are not really understanding what anyone's best quality in the room is when you're writing this retelling, right? Where am I going with that? Oh, yeah. It's just like, look, my favorite depiction of, oh my god, Mr. Darcy is the 2000s movie. And it's because I feel like the guy who plays him, Matt something, does such a good job, like, making this man seem neurodivergent, making this man seem aware that his delivery of things is not what people want, but he doesn't know what to do about it. Like, that's my favorite depiction, okay? And that's how I have always pictured him, because, like, I just think Matt knocked it out of the park. And I feel like I love the 90s one. I need to watch the 80s one. But, like, while I love Colin Firth, and I do love him in that series, I just think he's, like, too broody comparatively. I don't know, man. My biggest problem is the Lizzie situation, though, because they just, like, did a hit job on my girl. Like, Lizzie wasn't a bitch. And if she was for any reason, which I would argue, she wasn't really a bitch that much unless someone was a bitch to her first, you know what I mean? Like, she's just like, she's a little cutting sometimes. She is shrewd. She is very deliberate, you know? And she's really thinking about her word choice. But this girl in this book was, like, swearing up a storm. Like, let me see if I can find one quote for y'all, because, like, hot damn. Oh my god, yeah. So after Darcy big speech about, like, hey, your family's sus and it's against my will, but I'm in love with you, which is such a funny line. I don't know, so that's just, like, such a Sasuke Uchiha line. But remember in the OG, like, is Lizzie being direct? Is Lizzie using targeted language? Is Lizzie angry? Yes, to all of those things. So in the OG, I can probably almost quote it if I wasn't this. Any hoozles. It's basically like, even if I could ignore that you said bad things about my parents and unwanted connections, and that despite your better judgment you're in love with me, like, what makes you think that I would ever want to marry somebody who ruined my sister's life because her sister was trying to get with Charles Bingley, which is Mr. Darcy's BFF, right? Right. And he was like, hey, I think she's just not that into you. And he was like, oh shit, you really think so? Damn. Okay. Right. So that's one of Lizzie's points, is like, what the hell, you ruined my sister's life. But she's just like, you're so arrogant. You were like the last person I could ever be prevailed upon to marry. And marriage was a big deal in the OG, but when it's modern, it doesn't necessarily hit as good, you know? So Elizabeth, instead of saying that, which, like, was Lizzie pissed again? Was Lizzie kind of trying to knock Darcy down a peg? Hell yeah, man. But she wasn't like a rude, heinous bitch, you know? Like, so, but this bitch says, I'm gonna, like, kind of read it to you as best I can, alright? Don't expect any acting, though. You're cold and snotty and condescending. You're pretentious and talk like you're in a bad period piece. You've never said a nice thing about me. And then Darcy tries to interrupt her, and she's like, oh right, you said I was fine, you supposed. Were you expecting a prize for that? You act like a complete bitch all the time. Not just to me, to everyone, even Bobby, your so-called best friend. And I know that it's a modern retelling, but my Lizzie Bennet wouldn't sound like that. Because again, like, when you're just calling people names, doing whatever dumbassery Eliza Benitez is up to, I don't think it hits as hard. Because I, again, think Lizzie's very targeted and purposeful with her words, alright? So it just doesn't do it. Just doesn't do it for me. Sorry if this is ASMR. trying this lip scrub. It was expensive. I felt like $7.99 at a TJ Maxx. Should be a crime. Also, I feel like it gets everywhere. Jesus. But did you know there are volcanoes in this? Apparently. I forget what it was. It was like, I can't even explain it to you. But there was volcano ash or some shit. I was like, why would I need that on my lips? But apparently I do. Apparently I do. Oh, I forgot to mention one character that they changed to. Kitty, the almost youngest sister, the one older than Lydia. In this book, she's a trans girl, and I thought that was really nice, actually. Like, genuinely. I was like, oh, that's nice. For real. And their parents being divorced is kind of weird still. I don't know, man. Oh, I also wanted to get the big thing that I liked. So I think that if you're familiar with Pride and Prejudice, you know about Wickham. He was Darcy's childhood friend, and his dad worked for Darcy's dad, and are about the same age, right? Well, he tries to like get Georgiana, who is Mr. Darcy's younger sister, to elope with him so he can have her inheritance. Now Mr. Darcy says, well, you're not going to be getting a penny of that, all right? And then Wickham's like, never mind, I'm not into her anyway. And then later he's trying to rizz up Lizzie, right? She's like, only sort of feeling it. And then he's like, I'm gonna take advantage of and then make this whole big fiasco that forces us to get married. Your 15-year-old sister, Lydia. It's pedophilia, right? You know, there's a large age disparity, and he tried it twice, okay? And I feel like a lot of retellings of Pride and Prejudice try to shy away from the fact that Wickham is in fact a PDF file. All right, this one I feel like actually really acknowledged it, and I didn't mind the change at all that Lydia doesn't obviously end up married to him, because what the f would that be about, right? Instead, they're taking him to court, and he got arrested, and they're using some of the evidence that Darcy gave them / Georgiana approved of also. And I felt like it took it very seriously. Now, I don't understand the author, because I feel aging Lydia from 15 down to 14, and therefore making Georgiana more like 13 when she got, almost got by the Wickham, I just think, like, what is it to you that means that a 13 to 14-year-old child's essay by a predatory adult, what is it about 13 and 14-year-olds that deserve more compassion or more nuance, or it just is a better, like, you're somehow trying to make it more like they're more of a victim, I shouldn't try to have profound thoughts right now, I know this, but like why is it to you not as bad if she was 15 and Georgiana was 15, what happened to them, versus having them be way younger? I just don't get it, and I think it's really yucky. And what happened to me when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, it all mattered. All that shit that happened to me, And I don't feel like I experienced it differently, or that it was more tragic when it started versus like the rest of it, But circling back around to say, I really did like overall how the PDF file aspect of this book was portrayed and handled overall. I did like that overall. I thought it was a good handling of it. I would understand why authors want to remove it, like Just As You Are by Camille Kellogg. That's another Pride and Prejudice retelling. That's Sapphic, right? They had everybody pretty much be like roommates, so I understand why they didn't address the PDF filing. You know what I mean? Like, for the love of God. But like, I think it makes sense that some of these books would hopefully touch on it, simply because it would make sense that more adaptation-y people would want to explore that, because I do think it's a really interesting and nuanced topic. Not nuanced in the way like creepy Republicans would say, you know what I mean? But like nuanced because I think you can even see in Pride and Prejudice that every adult who has any sense, when Lydia and Wickham have to get married, are pissed the hell off that she's so young, because it's not right and she's not going to be all right, She doesn't know what she's doing. She's a kid. Because you can list the Gardners, Mr. Bennet, Lizzie and Jane, Mr. Darcy, obviously. Like, they're all like, he's creeping on little girls, And I feel like people look back at like old-timey stuff and they're like, oh, well, they all got married young. They really, really did it. Like, if you look at the statistics, and a lot of marriages were like placeholder until they were older. So like, I'm just saying what I'm saying. Every adult except for like Mrs. Bennet knew that this was bad news, man. Like, and then in The Other Bennet Sister, which is a show I fucking love despite it being straight, Lydia is just shown as like the most miserable, stuck in high school ass bitch you ever did see. Alright, and it's sad because she's like clearly so miserable, and she's still so young, and she's literally pregnant in The Other Bennet Sister. It's absurd, man. I think Lydia is kind of a great tragedy. I think it's partially because I feel like when you read the OG work, there is like a small amount of Lydia should have known better. Why would Lydia do this? What the hell? But at the same time, I just want to be like, hey guys, number one, it should be why did a grown man do this? You know what I mean? Which they mostly are. Mostly are, I would say in the book. But like, you're not fully cooked like I am right now. You're not when you're that young. It's just, you think you know what you're doing to a certain extent, and then crazy chicanery happens, and you crash into an outhouse at the bottom of the hill. I don't know what to say. Like, I feel bad for her. I feel like this book made me think of Lydia in an even more nuanced way, because like when I first watched and read Pride and Prejudice, I was even younger than Lydia. I was probably like 11 or 12, somewhere in there, and I was like, well, Lydia should have known better, you know, because like it was even younger. I was like, why doesn't she get it? I don't understand. And now I'm an adult and I'm like, yeah, no, that's a 15-year-old. That she does not have the capacity to think these things through, you know? What a nightmarish time. Oh no. Anyway, I think we should get to conclusion, because I'm starting to like get out there, you know, way out there on some kind of pride lily pad with Utena, Butch Queen, Butch Icon, Utena Tenjo. And next to us, Naru Sasu. Alright. I've been converted on TikTok to that. I wasn't really paying that much attention to them because they were kind of my least favorite characters growing up. But like, I was busy being in the closet and being like, all of these characters you all say online are gay aren't gay. I wasn't like posted anything. I didn't have much access to the internet, to be honest. But like, I never was like, Naruto and Sasuke are gay. No, I never felt that way. And now I'm seeing all these clips on TikTok and I'm like, dang. Yeah, that is really, there's no denying, man. Oh, how did I get on a Naruto tangent? A Rainbow Lily Pad, I think. I vaguely remember that. Okili dokili. New propaganda. Ned Flanders. Christian man or butch lesbian? Look, I'm just saying a butch baddie was the only one who could get with Miss Krabappel, okay? Conclusion. That's where I was going. Oh my lord. I needed this though. I've been having like a huge autistic meltdown over my car shit. Like, I'm so mad about it. I mean, not right this second, but like, I will be later. I felt like it was like average. I didn't feel like it didn't have the sprinkle sparkle. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't have the pizzazz. The pizzazz. I like that word. I hope you guys like that word. Anywho. Doesn't have the pizzazz of the OG. You know, I needed more from specifically Lizzie and Darcy. I really, really did. Because they didn't hit. I need Lizzie's snarky ass. Like, there was literally one description where it was like, don't be passive aggressive, Lizzie. And I'm like, my girl Lizzie wasn't passive aggressive. She was just smart aggressive, man. And even though you have the source material, I'm pretty sure you can get it in lots of places for free. It just feels like you stopped reading the source material after a hot sec. And look, my million, billion, trillion removed cousin Janie Austen deserves to not be rolling in her grave every time people misunderstand her great works. Her great works, which were clearly always butch femme, no matter how you look at it. Can't explain it. Don't ask me to. Mr. Darcy, butch energy. Mr. Wickham, toxic mask. Mr. Collins feels non-binary to me. I don't mean that offensively as a non-binary lesbian, I promise. But like also a little bit asexual. Actually, yeah, I feel like asexual non-binary is very, very descriptive. Yeah, he just feels that way. I can't explain it. Mr. Bingley, like the golden retriever mask or whatever. That's how it felt. That's my dreamland, and I welcome you all to come live in Butch Femme Dreamland, okay? Where there's always soft shell crab and there's always pride shit Let our baristas always be non-binary, and let our bartenders be lesbians, and whoever is running the glitter table, may you always be a trans person and or a drag queen, because you can be all. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't copyright strike me, Lady Gaga, please. I'm a little scared of you. Good lord. I'm gonna have to find my phone in a second. That's gonna be bad. Anyway, like I was trying to say, I'm so sorry. I hope you love all this rambling shit, because I don't know what else to... I keep getting lost in the woods. They didn't give Lizzie the pizzazz, the razzmatazz, and they didn't give Darcy the nervous, neurodivergent butch energy. Something I don't understand with more retellings is why in more retellings don't you guys make more of the men butches? I want it. I just want it. Said what I said. I gave this book 2.5 stars, which I kept going back and forth with myself because I was like, that just seems mean. It sounds mean. It looks mean. Like 2.5? That's an aggressive number, you know? But like 2.5 out of 5 is half. So there. I hope you enjoyed this late nights blazed book reviews with Shelby. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel. I hope you guys continue to enjoy these. I'm looking forward to doing them. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.